Alright everyone, we're back with another video of English learning. So just a brief recap of so far what we have covered. We've covered nouns, we've covered verbs, we've covered adjectives, we've covered pronouns, we've covered all the three tenses and four varieties of each of those tenses. Now keep in mind these are just theory things, okay? You also need to practice, meaning that you cannot just expect that after learning theory you will miraculously get good at it, right? Language is something that takes up a lot of time and a lot of patience as well. So you get good at it eventually. You'll not get good at it overnight. It's like going to a gym. It's like adopting an Ayurveda practice. It will yield results over a period of time. I will reiterate what I have always been saying in most of my English teaching videos, is that reading is something that will teach you more than any other teacher, including me as well. If you are planning to learn this language, if you want to get better at it, I would highly recommend you to cultivate a hobby of reading. So what happens when you read? I've seen this tendency because I've only met students from our country, of course, people who have been educated in vernacular medium schools or state board schools. What they do is they will print out a PDF from the internet, they will memorize the words, they'll also memorize the meaning of it, and it could be quite surprising how much a student can memorize. I've seen students who have memorized PDFs of 500 words with their meaning, okay? So let that point be aside, that it in itself is a very commendable feat, but that's not the point. The point is, if you want to learn how to use them properly in a sentence, reading is the way forward. So number one, it will improve your vocabulary. Number two is it will tell you how to use it properly in a given sentence, and that is where that polishing of your language will come from. All right, so without any further ado, let us just go. Yeah, all right, everything seems to be in place. Let us focus on today's topic. Today's topic is adverbs, as the word suggests. Adverbs. So any word in a sentence that provides a little bit of extra information with relation to the verb or an adjective or any other adverb. Okay, an adverb can describe a verb, an adverb can describe an adjective, or it can also describe another adverb. Alright, so let me just give you a brief recap about how we frame sentences in English language. That is SVO. V is the verb. Okay, now verb is an action word. Now the person who is performing that action is called subject, performer. In Hindi we like to call it as karta, somebody who is performing the action, that is the verb. And the object is usually the receiver of the action. Okay, object usually is the answer to these WH questions, that is how, where, when, how much, how often. Let me just frame a question for you. Okay, the armed forces struck missiles deep inside the partition state. Okay, partition state is over here, is Pakistan. Okay, so the strucking, they are launching missiles. So this is the verb. Who is launching the missiles? The armed forces. So this becomes the subject. So deep inside the partition state. Okay, so deep inside is the answer to where. So that becomes your object. So that is how you frame an object in a sentence. So object is usually the answer to one of these questions in a sentence. Either it answers how, either it answers where, when, how much, or how often. I'm also planning on making a video about subject, verb, object for people who have just begun to learn this language, but this is the most basic part of framing correct sentences. So that is where the object, that is where you will usually find the adverbs. Alright, now let us go through the adverbs. Let's see. So whenever you see these words, let me just, okay, let us, yeah, I hope this is okay for now. I have just simply taken this image from Google, so if you would like the credit for this image, you can get in touch with me. I have not created this image. This image belongs to the respective owner. Alright, I'm just using it for teaching purposes. So now let's get to adverbs. Adverbs, how, whenever a word answers the question of how, it is called adverb of manner. Manner as in what. Let's say, for example, let's look at the first word, quietly. The students were sitting in the class quietly. Okay, let me just write down this sentence. The students were sitting in the class silently. Alright, so sitting becomes the verb, obviously that is the action. Who is performing that action? The students become the subject. Okay, how are they sitting? Silently. So when you ask the question of how, you get the adjective of manner. Peacefully. The partition country does not want to exist peacefully with Bharat. Okay, that is an adverb. Carefully. Okay, both the sisters were crossing the road carefully. How were they crossing the road? Carefully. Slowly. Please drive the car slowly. How should you drive the car? Slowly. Okay, so whenever you get the question, whenever you get the answer to the question of how from the object in a sentence, it is the adverb of manner. Okay, it's you can remember them by their question heads, that is how, where, when, how much, how often, but there are some names that we have given to them. So this is called adverb of manner. When you get the answer of where, it is adverb of place. Okay, these are their designated names. We don't need to memorize all of them. So where, okay, let's see. The students are playing behind the class. Okay, so I personally have been educated in a Kendriya Vidyalaya, so whenever you have a games period, you just play wherever you find a vacant place, because all the other classes would also simultaneously have those games periods. And you know, if you are studying in a senior grade, obviously you get to play at the best parts of the playground, but if not, then you'll have to make do with whatever place available on the playground. So right now we have this sentence, the students are playing behind the class. Okay, playing becomes your verb, students, they become your subject, and where are they playing? Behind the class. So it becomes an adverb of place. So when you get the answer to the question of where as an object in a sentence, it is a adverb of place. Again, the similar logic applies to these things as well. When is adverb of time. When you get the information of time, the students will attend the physics lecture tonight or tomorrow or later on. How much? Okay, this is adverb of degree. Degree meaning the measurement of intensity or severity of anything. Okay, so enormously. Okay, he donated enormously to the fund. How did he donate? How much did he donate? He donated enormously. I can understand the confusion that a few of you might have, that how do we distinguish adverbs from adjectives. There are ways that you can use to distinguish them, but I would say that it absolutely does not matter. Okay, we are here for the purposes of learning. There are no fixed boundaries in English language. For example, in our school we were taught that handsome as a word can only be used for men, and beautiful is the word or the equivalent of handsome for women. Okay, but I have read it in books, especially Pride and Prejudice, written by Jane Austen, where she uses the adjective of handsome for women. Okay, one of the sisters, I think it was Elizabeth. So there are 4 sisters in this story of Pride and Prejudice, and one of the sisters is called a handsome girl in that book. Okay, so there are no fixed boundaries when it comes to English language. So this argument of trying to distinguish between adverbs and adjectives, I would say it's a fruitless argument. Don't get into it. It is a matter of technicality, yes, but it wouldn't help you, or it wouldn't give you an edge, or it wouldn't improve your spoken language. All right. So whenever you get the answer to the question of how much from the object in a sentence, it becomes an adverb of degree. And the last one is how often, that is adverb of frequency. Okay, he goes to the physics class rarely. He attends, or he attends the math class occasionally or usually. So how often do you do something, or your frequency of doing it? If you do something every day, the frequency is daily. If you do something I would say at least 3 or 4 times a week, then it is usually, so on and so forth. So it's your cycle of repetition. So let's take an example. He attends the English class daily. Okay, attends becomes the verb, because that is the action word. Who is performing that action? He. We have used a pronoun over here, that is third person singular. He attends the English class. English class becomes the object. How often does he attend the English class? Daily. Okay, so you are getting the frequency of the object, the answer to the question of how often, daily. Hence it becomes an adverb of frequency. That's it from this video of adverbs. You don't need to mug up all these words. You can just simply remember the WH questions and remember the SVO, that is subject, verb, object. Whenever the object answers the question of how, it is an adverb of manner. Whenever the object answers the question of where, it becomes an adverb of place, and so on and so forth. So once you learn, or once you become good at identifying verb in a sentence, things will get easier from that point forwards. So I frequently tell this to my students, that always identify verb first in a sentence. When you do that, things will become easy, because once you identify the verb, you get to know who is doing that action, that is verb, and then you find the object. How do you find the object? You look for the answers to either one of these questions: how, where, when, how much, how often, and then things start becoming easy. That's it for this video of adverbs. You can check out my other pages on Instagram and X if you like to read my articles. They are there on X. If you like to see some visually appealing content, you can visit my Instagram profile as well. And if you like philosophy, okay, during my days of civil service preparation, philosophy was an optional that I had chosen. So I have developed an interest from that point forwards. And I've also uploaded some videos on philosophy on my YouTube channel. You can check out the playlists on my channel page. And that's it for this video of adverbs. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching.